you feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but we got Beer Cheese Benny coming up on the line.
Hey Ryan, Beer Cheese Benny here.
Yo.
I just want to say how freaking dumb Bears fans are.
All
they
right.
literally have mental illness and they have low IQ.
Yeah.
You know, them talking about like, oh, there's nothing to do in Green Bay, so that's why people are at the stadium for the family night. That's why we only have
terrible argument.
In Chicago. That's why there were only 25,000. Like, you just outed yourself, bro.
Right. Exactly.
Like, people would rather do this, that, and the other than go to freaking Bears. Watch the Bears. Some fans.
It's funny because there were Bears fans that would argue with me for a long time, and for like several messages in a row, I would just say essentially, dude, I agree. I agree with you. Well, Bears fans just show up when it matters. Yeah, I agree. You show up during game time. I 100% agree with that. That is your level of commitment. And you guys show up big time, for sure, yeah. You'll even travel to away games. 100%. You guys are committed to a certain level of fandom. I'm not disagreeing with you. Well, there's nothing else to do in Green Bay. No, that doesn't really check out. People aren't bored. I would guess the majority of people there are from the Milwaukee area. There are things to do in Milwaukee, not to mention Chicago is equidistant to Green Bay from Milwaukee. So you could choose to drive south to Lollapalooza or all the thousands of things going on, as you guys love to say, or go to Lambeau Field. And they choose to go to Lambeau Field. So I even had one guy, these people, obviously not all, right? Hashtag not all. But these people are idiots. The guy actually said nobody has ever said, hey, let's take a trip to Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's like, bro, that's literally what just happened on Saturday. You're like, it's literally not. Like, what do you think, they sprouted from the earth? How did they get there? And then he starts going into all kinds of just childish elementary school insults. And I'm like, yeah, cool, dude. So anyways, they did. It's almost, you almost feel guilty when you recognize the level of intelligence that you're arguing with. Either this is a mentally, what is the politically correct term? Somebody that is, let's just say 75 IQ or lower person, or it's somebody that is 13 years old or younger, a child, and you start to feel bad because it's like, what am I doing here? This is not what I should be doing. This is not very nice of me to be doing this. So it's freaking wild.
You guys have, geez, man, bigger, like 10 times bigger population than us. Can't even freaking get 40 or 50,000 in that stadium.
Well, and that's what's funny. Like, Lollapalooza's going on. Okay, it's very simple math here. Take the population of Chicago and the surrounding areas, right? Let's say, I don't know, a 1 hour. I should do significantly more than an hour, but let's say within an hour of the boundaries of Chicago. Take that population, subtract Lollapalooza, and look at how many people are left. Could none of those people go? What are they doing? And that's, by the way, pretending that people attending Lollapalooza are just from within an hour, inside and within an hour of the Chicago boundaries, as if it's not a worldwide event with people from around the country and beyond. I'm giving you all kinds of grace here that is well beyond what is reality, and it still doesn't check out.
And you know what, dude? It's not even. It doesn't stop at Bears fans. Cubs fans do this too with the Brewers. They always try to say, "Oh, well, it's just luck. It's just luck. That's why you guys are. You guys are a lucky team, and you guys don't lead. Whoa, bacon."
They're a lucky team, right? That's why they've been successful like 2 times in 50 years. Shut up.
Stat or whatever, like advanced dumb stat, alphabet soup stat that they want to say, and then like they try to say it's Wrigley North. It's Wrigley North. Like, oh my gosh, like, congrats, you don't have a job. You have time to go to a game, like, at our stadium. Like, wow. Like, and actually, it's not even true because, like, all of a sudden you hear the loud cheers from the Brewers do something good. Like, oh, that's a lot of Cubs fans cheering for the Brewers. Thanks for paying our rent, you dummies. Like, it doesn't, they just are so stupid, man. It really is pissing me off, honestly, dude. Like, how dumb they are. And then
you know what it reminds me of? It's when the big brother is not as good as the little brother, and they're very self-conscious and upset about it. Like, I'm not gonna say that was my situation. I don't want to, academically I might have been a little bit ahead of him, and I might have said some very unkind things. But you know what? He was bigger and stronger than me, and he beat me up once in a while. And sometimes I like to tell him he was stupid. But it reminds me of, like, everybody loves Raymond. Raymond, the little brother, like, everybody can do, he can do no wrong, and the older brother. It's a whole thing. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But that's what it's like. Chicago fans are they hate Wisconsinites so much. And again, it infuriates. Everything about the situation between Illinois and Wisconsin infuriates them. The fact that everybody likes Wisconsin and nobody likes Illinois. The fact that people flood Wisconsin and flee Illinois. The fact that people from Illinois flee to Wisconsin when they want to go on vacation. They don't go into Chicago. They hate the fact that nobody respects Chicago as far as cities go. It's all New York, L.A. They're even now talking much more about Texas cities, for whatever, like the food scene or this. It makes them so angry that they aren't seen as like a top destination for anything ever. And they feel like they should be getting all this recognition because, again, like I said, there's a lot of these people are not even in the city. They're suburbanites that like to pretend that they live in Chicago, and they don't live in Chicago. It's their entire identity. They have nothing else in their lives going on that's going well for them. And so them being from Chicago as their identity, if you tie your entire identity to Chicago had better be a pretty special place. And so how special Chicago is matters a lot to them. And the fact that all of your sports teams suck, nobody respects you for really anything. And this is coming from someone that thinks that the food scene is probably a little underrated, although at the same time, I don't know, man. When you really think about, like, if you want to go to the nicest steakhouses in the world, do you think Chicago? No. I'm sure they have some. But you probably think New York, right? If you're thinking more upscale, foo-foo stuff, probably like somewhere in California or something. Vegas has some really nice stuff. I don't know. You don't, nobody respects their pizza, even though they do have really good pizza and like the deep dish. Like I said, as a kid, I never had those like deep dish pizzas as a kid. It wasn't like a thing. I don't remember the first time I had it, but it was later in life. They're actual, like, I don't know, pub style pizza or whatever. Incredibly good. And that's, an underrated thing. And also the deep dish is phenomenal. I will fight anybody on that. But it drives them insane. They feel like they should be better at everything. And everybody's better than them at everything. So you have all these people that tie their entire identity to Chicago, and nobody respects Chicago. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to go there. And then they have to listen to the media talk about how Detroit and Minnesota and Green Bay, Wisconsin, which again, remember, their entire identity is tied to like, oh, we're this big city, like everybody knows, and people don't care. They don't care. The fact that people went to Green Bay, Wisconsin for the draft and said it was great, it can't be great. Because if that's great, then what is this? Right? It's great here because there's so many people and it's so crowded and there's so much to do. If it can be great somewhere peaceful or quiet or small, then what is my life? It's an existential crisis that they're going through. That's why they hate you so much. That's why they hate the Brewers. That's why they hate the Packers. That's why they hate all these, because it can't be. We have to be better than you.
You got the freaking Packer fans too now. They're like, Jordan Love's footwork is so bad, and they're like, but they don't show the clips. Like, okay, what clips? Like, I'll agree that he's bouncing around still, but I've seen him now where he's not doing so much. He's actually planting his feet when he throws. The only time
the problem isn't that he does it sometimes. The problem last year is that it was every time when it was unnecessary. Like, there's no pressure. And he's still doing it. I mean, there are times when there's pressure in your face, you're not going to be able to step into it. And having the ability to throw off your back foot is a good attribute to have, just as long as you can do it accurately, and sometimes you can. You just, when you have the opportunity to use good footwork, you need to do it, and I have seen him do that. I haven't really been tracking it like every single pass or whatever, but I think it's looked pretty good.
I ever really saw him throw off his back foot is when the pocket was collapsing like 9/11. And
what?
or he was freaking, scrambling, which is like, well, whatever. Like, but he still made the throws. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, sure. Like, but I think his footwork is much better, and I think we need to stop with this crap, man. Like, I don't know, man. That and Bears fans are really annoying me, man. Like, just people that constantly want to be like, see, I was right. Jordan Love, he's not good. Like, they're still holding on to this, man. I don't know. Whatever, dude. I'm over it. Go Pack, go. Cannot wait to beat the Lions. Hopefully we have the home rest, unlike the last time where they always favored the away team.
I just think it's funny that they're already turning to the victim mentality, right? I mean, this is supposed to be the time of year when they are the victors. They're the ones that are, everyone's praising them and everyone's loving them. And they get so much undue praise all the time. Caleb's going to be so good. Justin Fields is going to be so good. The Bears are going to be so good. Ben Johnson's going to be so good based on no information. And they breathe this in. They take it in all the time. Oh, yeah, tell me more, based on nothing. And then when things aren't looking great, like your quarterback is really struggling with stuff that's been a concern for a long time. They're like, this is, all we get is hate. This guy gets nothing but hate all the time. Like, are you kidding me? This guy, we were told this guy's going to be great based on nothing. Nothing. I mean, you could say it was based on what he did in college, I guess. But that's a little silly, considering what we know, that's not enough information. I mean, we had, granted, this was a Bears fan. In fact, I think it was the guy that we've been talking about a lot lately that somehow took the jump to the national stage. I forget his name. But talking about, bust is off the table. Bust is off the table. It's literally not off the table, bro. It is very much on the table, okay? In fact, based on what we've seen, the only thing on the table currently is bust. I mean, that's the only thing that, if his career ended today, that's the only thing we'd be saying. We wouldn't be saying, oh, man, a great career got cut short. That would not be what anybody would be saying. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they've pivoted to the victims, to me, is just delicious. That's all they have left now. Attack the Packers, attack Jordan Love. They need to deflect. And so just understand when you see it, that's all they're doing. They're playing the victim, and they're deflecting. Look how bad Jordan Love is. Look how bad J.J. McCarthy is. Look how bad all these people are. Look at everybody else. Oh, look, they lost their coaches. Now look how bad they are. Ha, look at them, don't look at us. That's good. I want them to play the don't look at us game. I just want fair coverage. Caleb's had more good days than bad, and we just don't get fair coverage. Nobody else would be treated this way. I saw them, what's his name? The Commanders quarterback. You know who I'm talking about. There was a very short video of him taking his mom out for just splurging with his mom. Like, hey, Mom, I'm going to take you shopping, and you can go buy yourself some cool stuff. I mean, these things happen all the time. Usually it's a car or a house or something, but whatever. These are usually very cool videos. We all kind of like it. And it's like, oh, that's very nice to do that for your mom. Bears fans came out in droves saying, if this was Caleb, it would be 24/7 coverage about this guy is terrible. No, it wouldn't. You bunch of whiny victims. Nobody has ever been mad at Caleb for doing things like supporting his mom with the money he's earned. By the way, where is that video? The lady whose arms he cries into. Where's the video of him buying her a house or a car with all that money he got? I haven't seen it. Maybe it's out there somewhere. I don't know. I'm just saying. No, he gets made fun of for videos of him sucking at football and wearing nail polish. If you think that's the same as showing love to your mother, you're an idiot. Oh, if this was Caleb, there would be wall-to-wall negative coverage. No, it wouldn't. It might actually be some positive coverage for once, but he would have to do something good. But they love playing the victim right now because it's all they have. It's all they have, and they're very hopeful that presumably Caleb plays in the preseason and looks really good because they need that right now. They're going to come out guns a-blazing, I promise you. They're pulling receipts. They're doing everything. They're going nuts if Caleb plays and if he plays well. So just remember, they are suffering right now. And it usually they have the offseason to enjoy, and then they suffer in the regular season. They might have just made it to August before everything just went straight to hell for them. Anyways, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got Steve in Alaska.
Hey, Ryan. Steve up in Alaska. How's it
Yo,
going?
what's up?
Just calling in to play a little defense for the Bears. They're being real tough on them. Let's look at what they've done quarterback-wise over the last 15, 20 years.
Sure.
Now, you can't say that they're the worst team in getting quarterbacks. I mean, there's the Browns. Who have the Browns ever gotten?
Sure.
Baker Mayfield. But,
Maybe.
Let's look at the Jets. Who have the Jets ever drafted that were any good? Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears' problem isn't the fact that they can't get good quarterback plays. It's that they pick bad quarterbacks. That's not their fault. That's just the draft. It's other people's faults.
Sure.
For those quarterbacks not being any good.
Right.
There's these other teams out there that are terrible, the Titans, that haven't been able to pick up anybody that was any good, Ryan Tannehill. So the Bears, you can't blame the Bears.
Right.
It's got to be something else. And someday they'll figure it out.
Yep.
And all their problems will go away because, they'll have that quarterback thing work for them because they aren't the worst team in the league at getting quarterbacks. They just aren't. There are so many teams that are so much worse than them. And by the way, that song for Caleb Williams, Haymakers, man, that was rough, dude. You just throwing big old bomber punches at him like that one. I'm going to go back to work. I just wanted to call in and say that kind of stuff. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
That song was frickin' money. All right. That might have been a little bit too on the nose, maybe a little bit unfair, but I don't care. It was funny and it's a good song. And I love it. Oh, by the way, big shout out to Carson Caldwell. He calls in here on occasion. He's a regular caller. He's also got his own YouTube channel. I think he's pretty big on Instagram. But I reached back out to him because we had worked last year on a couple banger videos where he did the video side and we put some of these songs to it. Because I've been, everyone keeps asking about the songs. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what to do with them. I don't want to just throw them on YouTube with like nothing accompanying it because that's not really what YouTube is for. And then it dawned on me like, well, maybe Mr. Carson Caldwell would be interested in working together again. And we already put together that After Dark song. I don't know if you remember that or not. What happened here? J.C. Horn involved in a car accident. Nobody was transported by emergency personnel. Okay, I wasn't sure how serious that was. But anyways, just wanted to give him a shout out. So we got one of the songs is on YouTube. Now some of you have been begging for that, so we got one so far that's over on Packernet podcast YouTube channel. And I believe he is working on a few others. He talked specifically about the Caleb song. He was saying how he wanted to draw in Bears fans by making it seem like a Caleb hype video and then flipping it, which is just the perfect way to handle that situation. So I believe we're going to have a bunch more videos coming out, and I'm pretty excited about it. So get subscribed. Be sure to give him a follow. Go follow him on YouTube, certainly Instagram, and wherever else you can find him. No, yeah, Caleb's great. He's real great.
Hey Ryan, TJ from Alabama. Just listening to your Chicago Bear Caleb Williams kind of rant. And I don't mean to pile on. Well, actually, that's kind of a lie. I actually do mean to pile on.
Yeah.
But reading a little blip from the Chicago Tribune where offensive coordinators talking about that the best thing about Caleb is his 2-minute stuff, and it shows his competitive nature and yada, yada, yada. There's an
that was the absolute worst thing from him last year, but all right.
To him, he doesn't get sacked. And then Case Keenum talked about the majority of the games come down to the 2-minute drill. And in the 2-minute drill, then Caleb can just freewheel it and doesn't have to pay any, doesn't have to follow instructions.
Yeah.
Basically, in the 2-minute drill, Caleb Williams does not have to play NFL quarterback, right. And that's where he thrives. Which is all fine and dandy. I mean, of course, you have to forget about the other 56 minutes of the game, where the 2-minute drill would actually be important. If you're, kind of a little heads up, if you're down by 21 in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, the 2-minute magic probably is not going to get you all the way there. So I thought.
Not to mention, it doesn't help when you spend a minute and 57 seconds of that laying on the ground, pretending that you are suffering and enduring like you're going for a frickin' some kind of I don't know which one is for the movies. An Oscar, right? Oscar? Trying to win an Oscar there, laying on the ground. Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. Bro, we got to play football. Oh, the pain.
That was funny that they're figuring out in Chicago, the coaching staff, that Caleb Williams likes to freewheel it and just go off script and things of that nature. I'm sure that's going to be a wonderful connection with Ben.
And I'm sure Ben Johnson's got to love that, right? Ben Johnson, known as this offensive wizard. I don't know that he is, but let's just say that he is. He's this genius guru. However, if you wouldn't mind, let's just not be genius and let Caleb play backyard football and then just pray that it works out.
Johnson, who came from Jared Goff, who is probably the most structured quarterback in the NFL, to Caleb Williams, who can't play NFL quarterback. No. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the last thing, they're talking about Saturday's practice, and in the 2-minute drill, of course, where Caleb thrives, where Caleb's the master and the best ever at the 2-minute drill, where his last throw was a misfire on a throw to DJ Moore, which was intercepted by Nahshon Wright. So Caleb's masterful in the 2-minute warning, although he will throw some interceptions now and then. So I just thought that was pretty good. It kind of connected with what you were doing, and I just wanted to share that. All right, go Pack, go. Thanks, Ryan. Bye.
Well, I can tell you right now what I need to do. I need to find that article because I am going to have a little fun with that. Found an article here. This is Yahoo Sports, story by Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. Caleb Williams thrives on the 2-minute drill. Probably a lot of different articles because the quote came from, they referenced the article, I think, here. Yeah, Chicago Sun-Times. Here we go. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams flashes things that you can't really teach in 2-minute drill. That part is, I would agree with that. Yes, that's true. He does have things that you can't teach. Justin Fields has things you can't teach. A lot of these guys. Zach Wilson has stuff you can't teach. Pretty much anybody drafted in the top 5 has things you can't teach. I love how they like to spin certain things that way. He's got this stuff that just a lot of people don't have. Yeah, I know. Can he play football, though? Is he a good quarterback? Well, I mean, he's a unique guy. Not a lot of guys like him. No, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Is he a good quarterback? He's got a gifted arm. He can do stuff with that arm that is just incredible. Probably one of the best in all of football. Him and Mahomes have something that most guys don't. No, I agree with that. Is he good at football? This is the Bears fans' specialty. They'll point out stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, but he's bad at football. Oh, really? Look at this highlight throw. No, I agree. That was a great throw, and he can do some special stuff. He's bad at football, though. Oh, really? Then who else can make this kind of throw? I'll just concede. Nobody. So what? Offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. Ask offensive coordinator Declan Doyle what he liked about the penultimate play of the Bears' 2-minute drill Saturday, and his eyes lit up. Ooh. Same thing everybody likes, he said. Quarterback Caleb Williams took a shotgun snap against a blitzing defense, sprinted right, and without slowing down, lofted a touchdown pass to tight end Cole Kmet. Writers have a gift of just making things all sound like this, I guess. That's what you watched at USC, Doyle said. His ability to evade, the arm talent. I feel like anytime you have, like, people that are good writers like this, you have to read it like this. Asked Doyle what he thought about the final play of the 2-minute drill, however, and things turned more serious. Williams tried to zip a slant pass into the end zone, only to throw the ball behind wide receiver DJ Moore. The fastball was picked off by cornerback Nashawn Wright. We'll get it corrected, Doyle said. And we won't make the mistake twice. Even after one of his best plays of training camp, Williams continues to ride the roller coaster of a young quarterback, learning Coach Ben Johnson's offense. For example, don't throw to the other team. That's a new thing that he has to learn. Get out of here with this bull crap. The Bears, however, are learning what he likes, the 2-minute drill. The best thing he does is the unscripted stuff, the 2-minute stuff, Doyle said. That's where he's able to go out there and really play and show some competitiveness that makes him who he is. Yeah, you're right. This is exactly what it is. He's at his best when you can stop trying to make him into the quarterback that you want him to be and can just let him be the guy that he was at USC. Well, duh. Of course he wants to be the guy that was good in college. The entire question, though, is can he become an NFL quarterback? That is the question. So stupid. All right. I would do one more call, but we got 3 Nates coming up. So why don't we maybe 2? This one is 4 seconds, but we'll see. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan, it's Nate. I was listening to your episode today when you were just kind of talking about, Kyle Brandt. He's just constantly defending the Bears. It gets old and everything, but I had a question. Do you think that I don't know if your AI thing can only do like musical songs or if it can do any kind of audio, but I think it would be really funny if you could have like an audio, maybe even the video included of I don't know if you remember the Leave Britney Alone girl from back in the early internet days, but I think it would be really funny to have a video like that of Kyle Brandt. But like maybe
Leave
with like
Caleb
the long
alone.
blonde hair of that girl,
I gotta try
screaming, that. Leave Caleb alone, leave him alone into the video camera. I think that would be
brilliant.
Hilarious.
That's brilliant.
To like post
All right.
to Twitter or
I know
something.
what to do.
So I don't know, just a suggestion, and I want to know if it's possible if you have the technology. Go Pack, go.
So again. AI is it's a work in progress. This, however, sounds like a job for Google. They have Veo 3, whatever it is. And I believe it's probably the best at video creation right now, but the best part about it, and I think there's maybe some, I kind of think the new Grok one can do it, but I don't know. I don't have access to it. I think it's just an Apple thing at this moment. You have to use the Apple app. But The benefit is that audio is included. I posted a video recently just kind of screwing with it a little bit. It was after the Lions got eviscerated in the preseason. I made a video just for fun. It was a guy in a Packers fan jersey, even though the jersey looked like a Jets jersey, but whatever, it was close enough. Guy in a Packers jersey kind of emerges from the savannah. There's a lion laying in the savannah. A guy kind of jumps up from the tall grass, runs past the lion and says, "Hey, lion, you suck." and the lion kind of puts his head down in shame. It wasn't a perfect video, but it got the point across. I thought it was hilarious. I loved it. So let's see here. I know I can add an image. The question is, do I just add Kyle Brandt and then hope that VO3 can kind of do it well enough that people understand? Or do I start off with the Leave Britney Alone person? I say person because I'm not entirely sure what we got going on here. Oh no. Can't do image to video in VO3, so I got to do without image. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be able to do it. We'll see. We'll just do the prompt, and we'll see if it's able to do it. I'm guessing it can't, but you're onto something pretty brilliant here, and I will poke around to see if there's something other than VO3 that has audio. Otherwise, VO2, you can do it, but it doesn't have audio. You could just have the Britney girl morphing into Kyle Brandt, and that alone could be the joke. Maybe you could have the Leave Britney Alone thing playing in the background. I'll have to play with it a little bit. That's a very good idea. And as per usual, if you call in and it's a good idea like this, I will steal it and take all the credit. I'll tag you if I can figure out, your stuff. Maybe if I can get it to work, I will, text you if I can get it to work. So it does not know the Leave Britney Alone girl or Kyle Brandt. That's what I thought would be the problem. I mean, we got something here. Morphs into a guy.
Leave Caleb alone.
I mean, if only he looked like Kyle Brandt, this would work. But maybe I could just take that audio and overlay it over what I was talking about before. All right, while that's cooking, part 2.
Ryan, I just wanted to add one more thing in regards to the Chicago thing. How everybody seems to think that Chicago is the greatest city ever, and
people from Illinois think that, yeah.
But you definitely have the right of it. Chicago is kind of a shithole. The only things that Chicago has ever done right is deep dish pizza and Chicago dogs. That's it.
Which, yeah, that's correct. And I do think they're underrated. Pizza people hate Chicago-style deep dish pizza. And that's kind of the problem people from Chicago have, is that pizza people are pizza purists. And they use New York-style pizza as sort of the North Star, or, the Pennsylvania or whatever. New Haven, Connecticut. That is sort of like the North Star. And so when Chicago comes out, and of course, a lot of people from Chicago won't use the deep dish as their main thing. It's more of a touristy thing. It doesn't matter. People associate that with Chicago-style pizza, which again, I think is phenomenal. I am all in on it. In fact, I don't even care if you say it's not pizza. Whatever it is, it's good and it's better than most pizzas I've ever had. So I don't even care. I think that stuff is delicious, whatever it is. But again, the problem they have is that pizza people are pizza purists, and even the tavern style or whatever it is that they're proud of, which again, I think is delicious, it's different. And it's going to be judged against the standard, which is New York, New Haven style, and you're going to fall short because it's not that. Same with Detroit, although Detroit doesn't seem to be like Chicago, where they're like, we're the greatest, you need to pay attention to us. At least as far as I know. I don't know. Maybe Detroit people are like that. I have no idea. I can't imagine they have pride in anything in Detroit. I feel like their pride got stripped away a long time ago. And then as far as the hot dogs, I feel like Chicago is very, touristy. You know what I mean? You go there and you try, the Chicago pizza, and it's oh, that was adorable. You got to do it, and then you just don't ever worry about it again. Same with Chicago hot dogs. Oh, yeah, you try, apparently you have to get this hot dog with this weird bun, and you have to try it with, a pickle and this nuclear green-colored relish, and whatever. All these very unique, it has to be a certain way. It has to be a Chicago style, or you're an idiot or horrible person. And so, again, you go to Chicago, you do it their way. You have their pizza and their hot dogs and these beef sandwiches with dip. And it's kind of like when you go to Philly and you get a Philly cheesesteak. You go there, you have their thing, that you order it their way. I'll have whiz with or whiz without or something. Okay, you say their words with their nasty cheese and their stupid bull crap, and you eat their sandwich, and then you like it or you don't, and then you leave. It's touristy. It's not seen as nobody thinks of Philly cheesesteak as a premier sandwich unless you're from Philly. And nobody thinks of Chicago-style pizza as premier elite pizza. It's touristy. It's this weird thing you try when you're driving through. Hey, we're here. Want to try that weird thing that they do, like Skyline Chili or Detroit-style pizza? It's like if you come to Wisconsin, you have to have cheese curds, you have to go to Quick Trip, and you have to eat Culver's. But that doesn't make you like one of the top food destinations. It makes you a touristy location. You have touristy cuisine. And again, I'm a big Portillo's guy. I don't eat all the crap on it. I'm weird, and I eat plain hot dogs. I have two options for hot dogs. You put ketchup on it when it's a gross hot dog, like the normal pork-style ones that don't taste very good by themselves. Put ketchup on it. Or if it's a good-tasting one, like a Chicago-style all-beef hot dog, I eat it plain because it tastes good. And I don't need crap on it to cover up the taste of it. It's usually the way I operate with stuff. Either it's good or it's not that good, and you put stuff on it to make it taste better. If you see me putting ketchup on your burger, you suck at making burgers, all right? Just straight up. Like it's overcooked and stupid. It's like putting A1 sauce on a steak. It is. You go ahead and take that as an insult because it is. But again, I like Chicago-style hot dogs. I like Chicago-style pizza. I think it's delicious. But nobody's going to respect you for it. And I just find it funny. Like, I think it's underrated. I think it gets too much hate because, again, New York is the standard, and I don't think it. I think it should be judged on its own merits of how good it tastes. But I don't care because it makes them mad, and I think that's funny.
That's all they got. And I love both of those things.
Yes.
But I can get those things other places, you know?
That's true. There is a Portillo's in Madison, Wisconsin. You know what I mean? And also there's like Chicago-style pizza places in Wisconsin. So I don't have to go to Chicago to get it. In fact, it's like, well, it's not as good as Chicago. The first time I ever took my family to get these things is when we lived in Kenosha. We drove down to Illinois to buy a car, which was a fiasco and also apparently a terrible decision because you have to pay like double tax or something. I don't remember what it was, but it would have been a bad decision. We didn't buy the car. But I was like, oh, we got to go to, I don't know, I think it was Giordano's or something. And it was like, you know, maybe not in Chicago, but it was pretty close. And I was like, all right, we got it. Maybe it might have been in Chicago. I don't know. And they burnt the pizza. It was terrible. We ended up getting like extra pizza because they burnt the first one and all this other stuff. So no, you don't need to go to Chicago. You can get it in your state. If you can find a place that does that pizza, it's going to be fine. It's not that big of a secret on how to make it. I mean, you can find it on YouTube. So, yeah, sorry, boys.
Like a lot of those Chicago staples, Lou Malnati's, Geno's, like those, they have Wisconsin locations that I don't have to drive to Chicago for.
Exactly.
You know, and I can get Chicago dogs at any hot dog place. And
you know what I really like is Rosati's. I think Rosati's is very, very good. It reminds me, like, if you get like a normal, like, first of all, they have the deep dish. It's good. If you get like a normal pizza, it reminds me of like back home. You get a good sausage pizza or whatever. It has that it's good. It's good pizza, but you're right. It's in Wisconsin. Well, it's Chicago style. Great. It's in Wisconsin.
There's even Portillo's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like there's a Portillo's 20 minutes away from me.
Exactly.
It's not hard to get the things that I like about Chicago, being only two things, without ever actually going there. Which
would shock a lot of, it shouldn't, because give me a freaking break. It shouldn't surprise people to find out that is the best of both worlds. If I can go to Portillo's in Madison, not that I want to go to Madison, but it's significantly better than Chicago. By the way, it's like right off the expressway. So it's like by Easttown. So you just like drive just to because I'm east, like everybody else is, east of Madison. You drive west, you get to the east side of Madison. So we've just reached Madison. Get off the expressway. It's not a great part of town. Grab your hot dogs. You don't even have to get out of your car. Go through the drive-thru, get your hot dogs, and get out of there. That's it. Boom, hot dogs. By the way, they also have a place in Lake Mills called Doyle's Dogs, which is a Chicago-style hot dog place. So you could go there. That's halfway between Madison and Milwaukee. There's a place is this in Milwaukee? Yeah, Layton Avenue in Milwaukee. Martino's, Chicago-style hot dogs and Italian beef. What is that other place that was actually really good? I think it's Chicago style. My wife used to work there when she was younger. Oh, it's called Sammy's. So there's a place. It's actually quite good. It's there's one in the Milwaukee area. I think there's one up north where she used to work. not up north, but north of this. But yeah, right in West Dallas, Sammy's Taste of Chicago. They got Chicago-style hot dogs. They got the Italian beef. They get. Do you understand how close we are to Chicago? There's all kinds of Chicago places around here. Martino's, Chicago-style hot dogs. You got a place called Chicago-style, apparently, over on National Avenue. Let's see, is this a Chicago-style place, or did that just randomly pop up? I think there's some stuff that's just... Point is, plenty of places. So you got Milwaukee, you got Madison, and you even got a stop along the way if you're going that way. You got Lefty's in... where is this? Elkhorn. Lefty Chicago-style hot dogs. It's a little southwest of Milwaukee, kind of close to Whitewater, where I went to school. But yeah, in Madison, you got Rosati's, which, as I said, is really good. We used to go to the one over on the west side. Delicious. Then again, you got your halfway spot. There's a Rosati's in Watertown, Wisconsin. And then over by Milwaukee, which, again, is going to be closer to Chicago, you got a Lou Malnati's. Place called Capri de Nuovo. Not really sure what it is, but the picture right on front here is a Chicago-style deep dish pizza. It looks amazing, actually. There's actually a place in Kenosha I remember we used to go to. I forgot what it's called, but they had, oh man, did they have some good deep dish pizza. Pizzeria Scotty. It's another place that looks like a Chicago-style place. What was it called? Sal's? Yeah, Sal's in Kenosha. Sal's, if you're in Kenosha, dude, Sal's had some good pizza. Holy cow. Sorry, you got me going on a thing here.
And then the other thing that really pisses me off about Chicago is I feel like people from, like, because I used to live in a small town. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, western Wisconsin. It's south of Wausau, Wisconsin, for anybody who doesn't know where that is, because nobody knows where Weston is. But anyway, so I moved down to Milwaukee, and I had always been told that Milwaukee is like, oh, this shithole, it's like gangland down there 24/7. And, you know, I think we catch a lot of the flack just being compared to Chicago in the Milwaukee area. Because guess what? I go to Milwaukee quite often. There's a lot of fun stuff to do down there. I've never felt unsafe. You know, as long as you hang out by the Deer District.
I was going to say, where are you going?
Go to the historic Third Ward, where, you know, it's all original buildings. It's beautiful down there. Stay by the river. You're fine. There's exactly one area of Milwaukee you don't want to go to, and it's like the north side, kind of the northwest side. And it's really easy to avoid that area. You'll know if you're there. Trust me, you'll know before you get there, because you just look around and you'll be like, yeah, this is the area I shouldn't be in. Let me do a U-turn. It's not hard to, and if you're taking Ubers around, your Uber would cost more to go there because Uber drivers don't want to go there because it's dangerous. So it's really easy to avoid that area. You know, there's areas of Milwaukee that of course don't look the best, but the only legitimate dangerous area is one very specific area. So I think we catch a lot of that Chicago stuff, because Chicago is legitimately a dangerous place to go. That is gangland. Milwaukee gets so much shit for not a lot of reason. There's carjackings. Yeah, I know we're high in carjackings, but can you name a city on the planet that doesn't have a higher than normal carjacking rate? I'll wait for you to name a city that like nobody ever gets their cars broken into. That happens in small town areas. People are shitheads. What do you want? I'm more
This is an area where I'm probably going to disagree. So first of all, statistically, Milwaukee is more dangerous than Chicago on a per capita basis. I think a lot of the legislation has caused Milwaukee to go south fast. I'm kind of speaking a little bit out of turn. I don't live in Milwaukee, but just a couple observations I've made since I've lived in Wisconsin. Milwaukee has gone downhill rapidly. And the two things that I know that I think are terrible decisions, I understand why one of them exists, but I don't agree with it. One of them is, and a lot of places do this, they will cancel chases if it gets to a certain speed. Milwaukee does that, and it's Milwaukee and the surrounding areas. The problem with doing that, they're trying to prevent, if it's a high speed, they don't want a high speed wreck, so they back off. The problem is, as soon as you flip on the lights, what do? They go to 90 miles an hour. Which means, number one, it's immediately unsafe because everybody is fleeing and doing 90. Number two, everybody gets away Granted, sometimes they'll catch them. They'll put out a call. Some other cop will see them. But the problem is then what happens? They go back up to 90. So they're basically doing 90 the whole time anyways, because they're constantly running into cops, and then they have to do 90. A lot of people end up getting away. The other thing that I think was the worst thing is how they essentially the Madison is bad with this too. I'm trying not to overstate it here. If you're a juvenile, you're basically just not going to get in trouble. You're going to get a slap on the wrist for whatever you do. So gangs are recruiting young people specifically. You see how this works? Every time we try to fix something or prevent something, you make it a lot worse. Look how many more kids are put in danger because these idiot politicians have decided that, well, they're just young kids and we don't want to ruin their lives over this, that, or the other. And so what happens? Gangs are specifically recruiting young people, and young people have made a hobby out of let's steal cars. What is it called? The Kia Boys or something? It's a whole thing where it's a known thing that these guys go out and they're very brazen about it. They'll hang out of the cars and they'll go flying around doing 80 miles an hour up and down the streets, and it's just what they do. And they get a slap on the wrist, and because of that, the gangs and whatnot will specifically recruit young people. So it's a lot of young people who are doing these crimes. And so you'll see 16, 17-year-old people who are or might be 16, 17, you might be in trouble. I can't remember. But you see a lot of young people are the ones that are getting arrested for doing this stuff. It's also become now a pastime. I know in Madison, high school kids just steal cars for fun. It's just what they do in Madison. Again, you don't really get in trouble. I know this because we had police specifically tell us this when we had somebody, which was a very common thing, rifle through your car. People go up and down and they'll check if your car's open. We, on 2 different occasions, when we forgot to lock our van, we'll go outside and our crap is thrown everywhere. And you look around the neighborhood and you see a bunch of cars with their stuff. You can just see crap thrown all over the driveways. And we talked to the police, and the police not only said we can't do anything about it, they said they know who did it. But they're not going to do anything about it because the judges just throw them right back out on the street, so they're not going to bother. This is literally what they told us. So because of that kind of terrible legislation, because of that kind of terrible leadership and judicial system and whatnot, it's causing places like Madison and Milwaukee to spiral to the point where Milwaukee has now become more dangerous per capita. It's close, but Milwaukee has now become a more dangerous city than Chicago, which is a terrible thing because Milwaukee was not that way. But it has just been run so horribly in the last, 15, 20 years or so when it really started going fast downhill. To the point, too, where unfortunately really nice places that used to be really nice, like west of Milwaukee, have become much worse. It used to be, if you stay west of Highway 100, it's beautiful. It's where my grandparents used to live. Now, you got to go a little bit further west. So I think you might be understating that a touch. I don't think the criminality of Milwaukee is because of Chicago. I mean, it might be in part because of Chicago. It does bleed up, but Milwaukee's bad. And a lot of people suffer because of that. You got places up north, like where my wife grew up, which are extremely safe places. People from Milwaukee will drive to those places because those are the kinds of places where people don't lock their doors, they don't lock their car doors. So they go up there, they steal their crap, they drive back to Milwaukee, where as long as they can get into the city limits of Milwaukee, they'll terminate the chases, and then they can get away with stealing cars and breaking into homes and all that kind of stuff. You have the same thing, if you go out west, people from Janesville and from Madison will drive out to the nicer towns in the surrounding areas and make those places unsafe, and then we'll beeline it back to these cities where there are no real punishments for what they do. Just to give you here's what the robot said, and I just went to Perplexity for this just because I didn't need a super long, detailed thinking thing. Both Milwaukee and Chicago have high crime rates, but Milwaukee is currently more dangerous than Chicago based on the most recent crime statistics. Milwaukee has a higher rate of both violent and property crime compared to Chicago. Specifically, Chicago has 32% less violent crime and 22% less property crime than Milwaukee. Chicago does have a higher per capita murder rate. Granted, that is the big one. 24 per 100,000 compared to 20 per 100,000. Despite this, Milwaukee overall ranks higher for violent crime and property crime, which makes the general risk of encountering crime greater in Milwaukee than in Chicago. Residents' experiences and safety perceptions support these statistics. Many people feel that Milwaukee neighborhoods are less safe overall compared to most parts of Chicago, especially outside Chicago's most dangerous areas. So Chicago is very similar to Milwaukee. I mean, if you go to the north side of Chicago, Wrigleyville area, at least when I was there, it's all like affluent people. It's not bad. South side, obviously, is the place where, you know, like the rap songs would tell you, just because it's a stop sign doesn't mean you stop. I've been to those places. I remember my dad used to live not in the south side, but it was in, I think, was it Romeoville? So it's kind of west of the south side, but he worked at the Pacific Garden Mission, which I think is down in the south side. So we'd visit him, and then when we go back up north, we'd go through the south side of Chicago, which is probably an ill-advised decision, but we'd drive through there to go back home, and it's at night, and it's just like, we got to get out. Like, this is bad. The only thing that made me feel good is we never had nice cars. We've never in our lives had nice cars. So I feel like we kind of blend in that way. Like, come on, bro, I'm not a target. You want my minivan? You want my Toyota Echo? Get out of my face. But yeah, again, gonna go ahead and sort of disagree a little bit. Let's see if I can pinpoint when it happened. It says it happened recently, but the exact year is difficult to pinpoint. Chicago historically had much higher crime rates, especially during the late 20th century. However, crime in Milwaukee rose during the 80s and 90s, significant increase in violent and property crimes, slightly higher than Chicago's as of 2024 and into 2025. Occurred in the past few years, likely between 2022 and 2024. So yeah, it's a very recent thing where Milwaukee has overtaken Chicago, which is a terrible thing. It's absolutely terrible that Milwaukee has just been run so far into the ground that it has now overtaken Chicago in violent crime. It's terrible. We'll grab this 4 seconds of Nate, and then we'll get out of here.
I was pretty much done with my thought, but I just wanted to say Chicago, the Bears, go Pack, go.
They call her the Windy City, but it ain't the breeze. It's all the hot air blowing about their deep dish cheese. Say they're world class, but the world moved on, while they're still pretending that their glory's not gone. Tourists come for pictures, locals pack their bags. Oh, Chicago, second city's feeling third. All your bragging sounds absurd. Pizza's just bread with sauce on top. Sports teams always seem to flop. Chi-town crying, nobody's buying what you're selling, and in There